Welcome back to McNulty's Book Corral. You know, I was going through some boxes as I've been doing lately. I think I've mentioned that before. And I came across a stack of John D. MacDonald paperbacks. We're going to talk about that today. It's interesting when I'm going through boxes of stuff and I'm redoing the back den, you know, and everything, and with all this construction, and I find stuff I haven't seen in years. And sometimes I go through it and I get lost for a few minutes in reading the books again. And sometimes I just start reading the book again completely, which is the case with The Neon Jungle by John D. MacDonald, which is a book I consider to be one of the classics of American literature. Genre literature or any type of literature. It led me into an interesting series of, let's say, note-taking. At the time I started to reread this, I discovered that one of my high school classmates had died. And it was, obviously, that's a sad event, you know, but we're all going to get there one way or the other. But in any event, it turns out that this guy was he was well loved. He had a lot of family friends and, you know, all of the platitudes that went out when he passed and so forth. But for me, that wasn't the case. He was a bully in high school. He was a sleazebag. Obviously I won't be mentioning names here. And it was a early 70s, you know, and he was just a nothing, person. And it led me to thinking as I'm reading about these really nasty characters, you know, in John D. MacDonald's great books. And he was a great American writer, by the way. He was born in 1916. He died in 1986. And what is the nature of evil? What turns a person bad? What causes them to do terrible things, to demonstrate poor judgment? What causes them to be mean to people? What causes them to be bullies? What is it? Is it grief? Is it anger? Is it disappointment? These raw emotions that we all suffer through in our lives. What causes this to happen that makes a potentially good person a bad person? And why does it manifest itself in certain ways? So this is kind of heavy thinking on my part, I guess, and I apologize. I didn't mean it to go that way, but because of this person that died was, to me, a vicious animal in high school with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. I wasn't happy to learn that he had passed, nor was I sad, obviously, you know, considering what he demonstrated to me. He was probably, I think, one of the most vile people I'd ever encountered in the early 70s was this individual. And I never kept in contact with him. I didn't keep in contact with my high school class at all. Until recent years, I was contacted by a few nice people from my high school class, and we got together, and it was very pleasant. I won't be doing it again, because that was an unpleasant period in my life, and I know far too many people have the same stories. So when I'm reading good literature, really well done character development, John D. MacDonald is one of those that does it. I'm paying attention to the cause and effect of the vile characters. And so I'm reading this. I'm reading the Neon Jungle, which has some pretty vile people in it. Not the worst ones that he created, but they're there. And I'm thinking about this bully who has died, and, you know, he had a family and they loved him and he was great, you know, and, according to all of these people, including my dozens and dozens of my fellow classmates, whom I respect, they saw something in him or had a relationship with him that was much different than what I saw. And I'm reading all of this and I'm thinking, how does that affect somebody? Well, I think one of the reasons why I read and why I read a diverse group of literature is because I seek those answers. I think grief and disappointment cause people to do it. You know, for example, in the Neon Jungle, the one young girl in here who becomes a heroin addict, does so out of grief after her brother is killed in Korea. And then she gets mixed up with different people. So she's making poor choices out of that raw emotion, that raw grief that she had. And I think this is obviously true to life. And so literature inspires us to ponder these things, these topics that are sometimes very unpleasant, but yet useful for us to have. So The Bully is Dead, for me, in reference to that which happened at the time I picked this up, and I wasn't going to reread it, by the way. I haven't read it in years. But this is one of the great ones. The John D. MacDonald, if you're unfamiliar with him, that's great because now you can become familiar with him. You can read the Travis McGee novels, and those are superb in every way. That's really what he's best known for. But he wrote dozens and dozens of these standalone books. I'll show you a couple more in a minute. But I'm reading this and I'm thinking about what this guy that I knew that was a sleazebag, was that just his low point in life when he was being a bully? When he was being that vile and vicious that, I always thought of him as a nothing person. It's just a total waste of time as a human being. But obviously he has some characteristics, because people that I respect felt strongly about him and are really sad that he died. And therefore I'm not, though. I'm not happy either. And I have to say that's true. What I feel when I learned it was a sense of loss on what could have been. That's always the case. It is. I'm a very amiable person. I seek out friendships with people constantly. I'd rather be your friend than your enemy. My wife and I feel the same way about life. We do a lot of things for people, and we just try to help people. But you read these books, and you recognize that characteristic of aggression, a characteristic of greed, and just being vile, just being mean-spirited to people. And you try to understand what causes that. What's the cause and effect here? Anyways, this book, as I'm reading it, I'm learning about this. So I'm kind of mixing topics here. But one of the reasons I read is because you learn about these aspects in human nature. The human condition is fascinating. Let's face it, guys. Really is. And John D. MacDonald was good because he understood the human condition, what would cause these things. You can have a bad year and just be a slime bag, and then the rest of your life you can be great, apparently. It's a shame I didn't know this guy when he was a nice guy. But I didn't. So I always, I have outlived an enemy. To me, that's my perspective. And again, that's why I'm not mentioning names. Anyways, John D. MacDonald sparks these ideas. It becomes part of the conversation in literature. When we're looking at literature, we're feeling these things, we're understanding it. So if you haven't read The Neon Jungle, try and find a copy of it. It was, I don't know if it's still in print. This was 1953, so this was early. Another one that I'm sure you're familiar with is The Executioners. This was made into a film twice called Cape Fear. Robert Mitchum played Max Cady, or Caddy, and Sam Bowden was played by Gregory Peck. I forgot his name for a minute. And they did cameo roles in the Robert De Niro version. Both film versions are really good, slightly different than the book. So The Executioners is another one of his classics. I dug these out. So I'm digging out books, by the way, and I'm going to be doing some downsizing. I won't be getting rid of John D. MacDonald. There's not even a chance of that happening. And then I had one Monday We Killed Them All. What a great title. So, anyways, just 3 titles to throw out there for you with a little bit of a discussion on my pondering in recent weeks on the nature of evil, the nature of people who make the wrong decisions in their lives. And how do we reconcile that? Tough questions to answer. Maybe there's no direct answer for any of them. I think we just have to do our best and, move on. Keep reading books. Keep trying to live good lives. Try not to be like these people in these books, or some of the people I met in high school, including some of the teachers who were gosh, they were just about as vile as you could get and abusive to me personally. Again, I know too many people in the world that had that experience. So anyways, John D. MacDonald, sparking a lot of memories, sparking some ideas here, things to ponder. I wish there was a better solution to it. And I wish I could put a pink bow around this episode so you're not thinking, oh boy, that's a heavy topic, Tom. But, hey, it happens. So books, life, here we go, guys. Stay well, stay happy. Feed your brain, ride the high country. Read a book.